And you've been talking of Demetrious Johnson. Is that in the back of your mind? You know, this idea of becoming a two-weight world champion?
And that's what I set out to be, become the best, the world champion. You know, that was my dreams and goals. Now it's other goals. It's become leaving a legacy, going out there and, you know, becoming a two-time world champ. In 2 different weight classes. So Demetrious is next on my list.
Cody, fight week's finally here. I know you've waited a long time to defend your belt. I mean, what's the energy like around this, you know, this fight event, Madison Square Garden?
Yeah, it's great. The energy is awesome. You know, I pictured that and figured that it would be, you know, pretty ecstatic. I just can't wait to get into the venue, you know, and feel that the electricity from the crowd, the venue. But, you know, it's great to be here. We flew in on Saturday, so we're getting adjusted to the time change, and training's going great. Weight cut's amazing. We're just checking in, doing all the media obligations, so balancing that all out.
Obviously, you would have wanted to defend your belt sooner. Obviously, the back injury has kept you out for a while, but it couldn't have worked better than to get this venue, 3 title fights, you know, being part of such a big card. I mean, how has that time out, if you like, helped you? What have been the advantages to having to take a little bit of time away?
So many advantages from it, you know. Looking at it first when I was injured, you know, and first getting the world title, it was what I wanted to obtain my whole entire life, you know, since I was a young kid. And getting the title, I wanted to defend it, you know, it's what you do with the title. So that was, you know, kind of a hard pill to swallow, you know, and having to take some steps back and flying over the country and the world to, you know, get these procedures and these special shots that were going to make you better in a month's time after receiving them. And, you know, I was very skeptical on that working. So we had to go to Plan B and do the rehab and build my body back up. You know, it's been 11 months of me, you know, rebuilding my body. Like, I've been in the lab just working on it. So I haven't been sitting on the couch. I've really been in the gym, in the physical therapy with my coaches, and really this downtime has let me grow as a, you know, as a fighter, as a human, maturity, you know, all physically, emotionally. It was a trying time, but I've had a lot of good things come in my life outside of my career. You know, I'm married, bought a house, I have a child, a son on the way.
Congratulations.
So yeah, so many blessings, you know, and I truly believe everything's happened for a reason. And now here I am, you know, fight week, fighting in the biggest venue, the Mecca, Madison Square Garden this Saturday against TJ Dillashaw. So everything's falling into place.
This isn't any fight, you know, this is the ultimate grudge match between yourself and TJ Dillashaw. For those people that don't know the story, just very briefly, tell us why there is so much animosity between the two of you.
There's a lot of animosity between me and TJ. For many reasons, the way that he left the team, the way he went about it, you know, he could have left the team and been a man of his word and been, you know, truthful and honest. He was very disloyal, dishonest. The whole team lied to us, you know, all the way up to the point where I was almost getting kicked out of the UFC for sticking up for him against Conor on The Ultimate Fighter, if you guys don't recall that incident.
So that altercation had the UFC saying that you could ultimately be kicked out?
Exactly. They called Dana and Lorenzo called Uriah. I was only, I think, 1 or 2 fights into the UFC career. Didn't have a big name for myself, and you know, but when someone offers you to fight or asks to fight, you know, I'm sticking up for TJ. In retrospect, he's telling us that he's with us. We asked him, like, hey, we heard the rumors, are you with us? And he was out there at the time on the show, and he was like, you know what, I'm Team Alpha Male. I don't care what you guys hear. I'm with you guys.
You're talking about McGregor and Uriah's tough, not your recent one with
22, and you know, that's the reason why I stuck up for, you know, TJ on there, because he was sitting there saying that he is part of Team Alpha Male, he's with us. And a man is only as good as his word and his handshake. And, you know, I still didn't truly believe TJ, but he was, you know, there. He's on The Ultimate Fighter, and he was telling us that. So, wasn't really good friends with him. He was a teammate, and that's what I stick up for, my team. You know, Team Alpha Male is everything to me. It's a family. It's a family away from my family. And, you know, I love that team, and I would do anything for it. So I, you know, stuck up for TJ on there, and almost, you know, lost my UFC contract. Why this guy's lying to us. That's why I have so much animosity towards him. I didn't care less if he left, you know. He left, and look what happened when he left. He lost the title. He's been on the road to gold, road back to gold ever since he's left our team. And that's where he's going to continue to stay after Saturday.
Do you think that all of this animosity is getting to him and his emotions more so than you? For example, Chris Holdsworth, one of your coaches, has spoken publicly this week to, I think it was Ariel Helwani on the MMA Hour, addressing the issue where he got concussed allegedly through TJ delivering an elbow to the back of his head. Is there something tactical in Chris speaking out this week to just further get into TJ's head a little bit?
You know what? I think it boiled up so much for Chris, and this is why he, you know, it was an opportunity to go on Ariel Helwani's podcast. You know, Chris really keeps to himself and didn't want in the drama, you know, didn't want to stay far away from it. But it was TJ's antics and what he was saying in his interviews that Chris cut too much weight, he didn't do that, and that wasn't the case. You know, he's going out there bold-faced lying about what was really done. He's the one that concussed, you know, Chris multiple times. I remember I stayed with Chris when I came out there. That's what I lived with for about 5 weeks when I first moved out there, because Chris was one of the guys that did everything right. He trained hard, he dieted right, he ate the right things. He was very knowledgeable on so many different avenues of what a true martial art was. I was just a fighter, you know. I just came to brawl, and you know, I learned technique of the way, so I got underneath his wing, and he helped me out a lot. But he stayed under the radar about it. He didn't want to be mixed up in the drama, but you know, TJ is the one who was saying that he didn't do this and do that, and Chris just had enough of it. He's like, I mean, this is messed up. You know, my dreams were sidelined because of this guy's antics, the way that he carried himself as a teammate. You know, and I remember Dwayne coming up to Chris multiple practices when they fought May, when TJ fought Henan Brow. Chris was on the other card fighting Chico Camus, and I remember Dwayne coming up to Chris Holzer and be like, grasshopper, you know, he always says, grasshopper. He's like, hey, can you take it easy on TJ today? You know, he's fighting for a world title. We need his confidence up. So Chris would be, you know, okay, he respects his coach, and, you know, he was like, oh, I'll go easy. He's going easy, and when TJ's going there trying to kill him, you know, and doing cheap shots and knee him in the back head and concussing him, you know. And I remember speaking to Chris about the fight. He was really messed up going into that fight, but, you know, it was his first fight after winning the Ultimate Fighter. He was excited to, you know, get his career underway, and a legal cheap shot from a teammate, nonetheless, you know, halts him of his dreams, steals it from him. And then TJ's going in the media and lying about he didn't knee him, just like I didn't knock him out. There's no footage of the video that I never knocked him out. Like, just does these things. He just lies and lies and lies. He's a habitual liar. And like I said, the whole time I said, hey, the truth will always come out. The truth at the end will always come out. And the truth is, November 4th, I'll have my hand raised and, you know, successfully defend my title against him. You
said as well that you like to look ahead to another fight. You know, you want to take TJ out, and then you like to look ahead to another fight. And you've been talking of Demetrious Johnson. Is that in the back of your mind? You know, this idea of becoming a two-weight world champion, joining the likes of Conor and BJ Penn before and those guys? Yeah, definitely. BJ Penn and Conor McGregor, they've set the bar high, you know, in the combative sport and the MMA sports. And you need those kind of athletes and fighters to, you know, set the bar high, you know, so someone else can, you know, raise it higher for the next generation of fighters or kids that are dreaming of, you know, becoming the best. And that's what I set out to be, become the best, the world champion. You know, that was my dreams and goals. Now it's other goals, is become leaving a legacy, going out there and, you know, becoming a two-time world champ. In 2 different weight classes. So Demetrious is next on my list to fight at 125. He's a pound-for-pound king right now. He's a great champion, great human. It's definitely strictly a business move for me, but I truly believe that I'm the best in the world. You know, I have a win over his last guy that beat him, a dominant win over one of the best, you know, arguably pound-for-pound best bantamweights to ever grace the octagon. So I think that'd be a great fight. I think the flyweight division would need myself to go down there and have, you know, more of a draw for Demetrious as well. What about the bantamweight division? Because it's quite stacked behind you. Dominic Cruz about to fight Rivera. Is that a fight you've got your eye on at all? No. Because you said you'd rematch him after the last fight if you wanted it. I respectfully gave him the rematch. He didn't want that ass whooping again. I don't blame him. But you know, he's got to fight with Rivera. You know, I want to go down and fight Mighty Mouse, so they can fight for an interim belt. I'll go beat Mighty Mouse and come back and unify my title at 135 pounds. But you know, TJ is my focus right now. I want to go in there and end this chapter just like I did with Dominic Cruz, and then move on. But I like to have one fight ahead. You know, you always have to set goals ahead of your next goal. You know, we have that 25 minutes. If it lasts that long, you get that your hand raised, a little breath of fresh air, and then it's boom. All right, it's on to the next fight. Well, the bantamweight division kind of needs a standout pay-per-view king, if you like. You know, there hasn't really been one in a while, or somebody you could say was that standout person. Do you feel you can be that guy in the division? You can be that name? Yeah, I definitely can fill those shoes. You know, I go out there and I talk the talk and I walk the walk. I'm 11-0, and you know, I go out there and perform. You'll never see me in a boring fight, win, lose, or draw. I always go out there and put my heart and soul into everything I do. The training camp leading up to the fight, whatever I have to do to go on there and put on a performance and get the win, I'm willing to die in there. This is ultimately the only thing I've ever wanted to do in my life, was be a world champion, and I'm here for a reason. And your story will continue on Saturday night. Can't wait to watch you. Best of luck. Thank you, Cody. Thank you so much.